Simon, and welcome to my crib. Oh, I'm dizzy. Keys, so let's get into it. So here are some of my paintings. I said I would show you guys some more. Here are some of my favorites. So our lesson objective is that students should be able to identify an organism using a dichotomous key, and students should be able to list characteristics of an organism by reading a dichotomous key. So I think in 8th grade, you guys worked with dichotomous keys. And if you took integrated physics and chemistry, IPC, here at Poly, then you probably have also done dichotomous keys. So this lesson should be really short because it's honestly really simple. So first thing, before we get into dichotomous keys, let's warm up with the cladograms example. So what is the difference between sharks and ray-finned fish based on this diagram? Okay, well, ray-finned fish, sharks. So what is the difference? Bony skeleton. Actually, I went about that too fast. So we have sharks and ray-finned fish. So we're going to take our finger and we're going to come all the way back to the beginning. So as we go from the beginning towards these organisms, they both have vertebrae, so that's not a difference. When I'm going to ray-finned fish, on my way to ray-finned fish, I pass over bony skeleton. On my way to sharks, I didn't pass bony skeleton. So ray-finned fish have a bony skeleton, sharks do not. Okay, let's watch this video on how to use the dichotomous key.
Dichotomous key. There's a lot of birds in our world, and if you were asked to identify a bird based on its characteristics, you could probably do it. We could probably name the hummingbird, the owl, the duck, and the penguin based on its features. But if you were asked to name these birds using their scientific name, the task wouldn't be so easy. You wouldn't know the scientific name of these birds just by looking at them. Scientists have figured out a way to make a chart to help you better identify birds based on their characteristics. The chart is called a dichotomous key. Reading a dichotomous key is easy. Take a look at the hummingbird. To use a dichotomous key, start at number 1. At number 1, it's asking us to observe the feet of the bird. A hummingbird does not have webbed feet, so we'll go to step 3. Step 3 has us examine the bird's tufts. Our bird does not have tufts. We just figured out the scientific name. Let's try the dichotomous key again with a different bird. This time we have the penguin. Start at number 1. Our bird has webbed feet, so we're going to have to go to step 2. Step 2 has us count the number of toes. A penguin has 4 toes. We just figured out the scientific name of the penguin. Using the same chart, we can figure out the scientific name of the duck. Starting at number 1, we see our bird has webbed feet, so we'll go to step 2. We have to count the toes. A duck has 3. We just figured out the scientific name again. Lastly, an owl. Always start at number 1 on the dichotomous key and look at the features of the organism you're trying to identify. Our bird has tufts. This is its dichotomous key's scientific name. Dichotomous keys, charts that scientists use to figure out the scientific name of organisms or to help identify footprints. Dichotomous keys.
Okay, so that's what a dichotomous key. So the purpose of it is to identify organisms. So tell what that organism's name is by using a yes and no questions about their characteristics. So for example, this right here says dry skin. If it has dry skin, you continue on. If it does not have dry skin, boom, that's a salamander. We keep going all the way, all the way, all the way, okay? So a dichotomous key can look like this. It can look like this, or it can look like this. So let's work together to identify this organism. So this is our organism. Where do we start? We always start at number one. Always, always, always start at number one. So it has a green colored body or a purple colored body. Is this green or purple? Purple. So it's telling us to go to 4. So now we're going to skip down on our paper and we're going down here to look at number 4. Has a pointy hump or does not have a pointy hump? What is that? A pointy hump. So I'm going to, the organism name is Dirus humpus. Let's do another example. This is a different organism we're going to identify. So this organism here, where do we start? Always start at number 1. Always. That's the number one mistake that students make on these type of problems is that, okay, since they just identified that this organism was down here, they're going to start down here and then keep, like, no. You have a new organism you're identifying, you're going to always start at number 1. Always. Is it green or purple? God. It's green. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to number 2. So let's look at number 2. Has 4 legs or has 8 legs? How many legs does it have? Okay, so this organism's name is Dirus octagus. All right, so that's one way that I can ask you questions. You can have a dichotomous key, have an organism, and have to tell me the organism's name or tell me the steps. However, we could also ask you, which when I say we could also ask you, I mean we are going to ask you this on the test, so make sure that you pay attention to this. Okay, so they can ask you, what characteristics does the Dirus purpulinus have? So how do we do that? If I don't have a picture. Well, first things first, we're going to find our organism name and then we're going to work the key backwards and find all the traits. So they asked us about Dirus purpulinus, so we're going to go and find Dirus purpulinus. That's where we're going to start. So then we're going to work backwards. Dirus purpulinus has ears. So has ears and then what? 5. So we know that it has ears. That's one characteristic that it has. Now what do I do? Well, I'm going to find where it tells me to go to 5. So I'm going to go and look. Where does it say go to 5? Oh, right there. Go to 5. So that means that's going to be my next place that I'm going to go. So now we're going to continue working backwards. So tells us that this organism does not have a pointy hump. So that's another characteristic. Now what? Well, that's 4. So that means I'm going to find where above it told me to go to 4. So where did it say that at? Boom, right here. It said go to 4. So then that tells me that this organism also has a purple colored body. And then it says 1. Nowhere above it tells me to go to 1 because the 1 is where we start. So that means that we're done. So those are the 3 characteristics that it has. So how did I do that? Well, again, if it tells me the organism, then all I do is work backwards. So Dirus purpulinus has ears, 5. Then I'm going to go to 5. It does not have a pointy hump. This is a 4, so I'm going to find where it says go to 4. Has a purple colored body, 1. That means I'm done. And if you're ever confused by this and you want to, make sure that your answer is correct, just now do what you said and make sure that you get Dirus purpulinus. So if I said all these characteristics of it, let me make sure that I actually end up at Dirus purpulinus to make sure that my answer is correct. So number 1, because we always start at 1. Number 1, has a purple colored body, go to 4. Has a pointy hump or does not have a pointy hump. We said it does not have a pointy hump, so it tells me go to 5. Has ears or does not have ears. It says it has ears, so Dirus purpulinus. So we just checked our answer and our answer is correct. All right, let's do a little bit more practice. So here's a bunch of alien organisms and I've labeled them organism A, B, C, D, E, and F. And so now we're going to identify a couple of them, and then the rest of them you're going to identify in your virtual notebook. Okay, so this right here, where do I start? How do I start doing this? Always start at number one. Number one says mouth open or mouth not open. Is the mouth open or not? The mouth is open. So then what do I do? I'm going to go to two. Let's jump on down here to number two. Number two, does it have arms or no arms? No arms. So its name is Alienus quadrilegicis. Now you're going to do this one on your own. Okay, so you should have said mouth not open. That told you to go to four. So you're going to jump on down to four. And it says horns or no horns. These are horns. So Alienus stripicus is its name. All right, so like I said, this is a quick video because it's pretty simple, and you're gonna have lots of time for independent practice. So you have a virtual worksheet on Google Classroom, you have an exit ticket, and of course, any makeup work. So what I did was I went through Focus and I've updated all of the assignment names to the date, just to make it just like super easy. It already, like, the dates were already correct, but I just made the assignment name the date, just so it's like very easy for you to find your makeup work. So please, it took me forever to do that. So please do that. Do your makeup work.